still not so sure about these microphone things. I am going to be doing the live stream, and you will possibly hear Mark over on his spot. So we're going to wait a few minutes till people show up because I went on a few minutes early. But we're going to see how this works because Mark, by this time of evening, is very, very tired. And so he's going to go lay down on his bed. But if he has a microphone, he can comment once in a while if he has something to add to the conversation. Because sometimes he adds to the conversation and then I just have to repeat what he said because he's too far away. So I am cleaning my glasses, which might be a lost cause. And that might have been really loud on the microphone, hearing me go. So what have you guys been doing today? We played some games this evening with the kids because with the little kids, because two of the big kids were gone. They went to, we have a friend who taught driver's ed for the kids, for the big kids, and he is running for sheriff, and our old police chief is running for, not running, but he'd be like his running mate, whatever that title is. And so they had like a meet and greet type thing, so they were able to go talk to him. Hey, say what now? That's a funny name. I like that one. Can you hear me? That's the question. So the big kids went to that. So we had the younger ones, 14 and down here at home, and we were playing some games. And so I don't know if you've seen it like on Instagram and things that are going on, but there's this game that you like make a motion, like, and then you make it a second time and someone makes the noise off screen. We played that game together with just the little ones. And so Elisha kept screaming for everybody's noise. It was very funny. Elisha's too. And then we also played a game where we were pretending to make a commercial for our church, but it wasn't our church. We were just making up a church. So we were welcoming everybody to Billy Bob's Barbecue Church. And we had all kinds of different things going on. Someone had brought pickles. They had the kids just had fun stuff going on, and it ended up with a bunch of kids. Someone mentioned camels, and it ended up with a bunch of kids sitting on the couch singing "We Three Kings" because of the claymation from sometime in the 80s or early 90s with the California Raisins. They had like a claymation thing, and there were camels singing "We Three Kings." And my kids think it's hilarious. And so they were all sitting on the couch doing that. And it was really, really funny. So anyway, hi, Susan. It's nice to have you here today. Can you hear me? Hi, Jody. It's good to see you tonight. Tonight we have two different subjects we're going to talk about. So I need people to tell me which subject they want to talk about first. There's so many things going on in the news right now. And then just so many things I've seen, like, like Facebook, Instagram Reels, people talking about type stuff. So there's two different things I want to talk about. So hi, Haley, and hi, Erica. I'm glad you're here. I like the little hey. That's cute. So one of the things we're going to talk about is words, the importance of words, how we talk to each other. And the other thing we're going to talk about is food prices. So if you have one you want to talk about over the other, let me know. So how was everybody's day? Hey, Maudie, good to have you here. And hi, Nettie. I know where some of you guys are from, but not everybody. Oh, we have somebody from the Congo. That's a long way away, and I like your flag. We had an older couple from church over the other day. And when I say older, I'm not trying to be rude, just like they're older than me. They have a daughter that's my age. And they had never heard of the game Global, which is the geography game we play every day. And we had not played it yesterday. And so we played it with them at supper time. And the couple was so excited and they got the country. So yesterday's country for us was Mauritius. But we have other friends that play the same game and Global. And they played it the same day we did one time, and they had a different country than we did. So I don't know how Global picks what your mystery country is, but yeah. Mauritius. Am I saying it right? Because I don't know. We have someone watching from the Congo. So if you guys hear crying in the background, I'm sorry. The little guy is in the other room, and I don't know if you can hear it with this or not. I'm not sure. Some people are with him, so I'm not sure what he's upset about, but he's being taken care of, and they know they can bring him to me. Hi, Wilma from Kentucky. I like Kentucky. We lived in Richmond, Kentucky for a while, And we visited a church in Lexington once in a while, which was a long way from Richmond. So we only visited a couple times, but there was very sweet families there. We attended a church that was in Richmond most of the time. Mauritius. Is that right? Mauritius? I'm really bad with pronouncing things. I love listening to other languages, but I always feel like someone will tell me how to say their name and I am not saying it right. So, okay, good. I think I got it right. I'll tell the kids. Hi, Daddy's Princess. Glad to have you here. So, anyway, today we did some stuff. For those who have been following along, Mark had a incident last week that we ended up in the ER because he had high blood pressure. They're not really sure what caused that, but the next two steps is we are getting a heart monitor and we are getting an MRI. So the MRI is scheduled for September, and his heart monitor, he got placed on today. He will keep that on. It's just a little like button. It's not like with all kinds of wires and everything. It's just like a little button sticker thing on him. And if he feels faint, like he has a racing heart, there's like a bunch of different things. If he feels weird, he pushes the button on it and then he writes down what his symptoms are. That way, when they get the machine back, they can say, oh, he said on Wednesday at 1 o'clock, he felt this way. Did he have an incident at Wednesday at 1 o'clock? He's had it on today. So far, he hasn't had any incidents to mark. So you can just pray. He's going to be having on for a whole week. So you can pray that between now and next Friday, he at least has some incidents, some episodes where they can either see, okay, when you're having an episode, it has nothing to do with your heart, or you're having an episode and it does have to do with your heart. But it's always hard when you do one of these things and it doesn't actually show in the timing that you have the testing done. But I'm glad it's for a whole week because it'll usually happen. It's not every day is bad, but within a week we'll have a bad spell probably. Hi, Elizabeth from the UK. It must be really late there, or I guess early morning. What time is it in the UK? So anyway, yeah, so you can just pray for that. He will get it. He got it put on at the local hospital, which was not a super fun event because it's on your chest and men are sometimes a little hairy. So they had to shave him. They do this with the women too, but they don't have to use all the steps. But they shaved him with like clipper shavers. Then they used a razor. Then they used what they call it, exfoliant paper. It was like sandpaper that they rubbed on him for 40 strokes. And then they used alcohol pads on top of that. And Mark said it was very stingy. So he had to get all that done today. But to get it off, they just sent us home with some pads to help loosen the adhesive. And he'll take it off next Friday. And then we just put it in the mailbox and send it. So we don't have to go somewhere. So that's exciting. Thank you for praying, Maudie. So yeah, that's what we did today. Oh, I also gave all the boys haircuts. Actually, Naomi gave Samuel a haircut because he likes to have like a military style, so it's like longer on top. And she does better with that. So she did that, and I just did buzzer cuts for the little boys. And I had a couple little boys who were scared of the clippers and have never had the clippers before. So that was a learning time. We took time to like show it what it felt like on their hand, what it felt like on their arm. Let me just do a little right here. Okay, that wasn't too bad. And we put on a show for them to watch while we did it. And we were able to get all of the boys to use the clippers. So that was really good because the clippers go so much faster than the scissors. I don't mind doing the scissors, but it just takes a long time, especially if more than one boy wants the scissors. And maybe at another time of year it's different, but in the summer when it's hot and you're trying to do it we try to do it outside in the summer so that we don't bring all the hair in the house, and it's just easier to do with clippers. Elizabeth said it is 1:05 a.m. in the UK. But it's so very hot here, it's hard to sleep. So I'm sorry it's hot. We're actually having pool right now. The kids asked to get in the pool today, but it was only 77, but it was like 55 last night. So the pool water, I put my hand in because I was like debating. We don't have a whole lot more swimming days, so I was debating whether we got in today, and I put my arm in and I was like, nope, way too cold. Because if the big kids get in, the little kids want to get in. But the little kids don't swim well enough to not have a parent in the pool with them. So yeah. So I had to make the decision. I was like, we can't get in. Way too cold. I'm a wuss with the cold water. So anyway, okay, so we've got more people around now. So I have two different topics. The first topic we'll talk about, since nobody said anything, is we're going to talk about food. And the reason we're going to talk about like food and food prices is I'm just wondering what you guys spend for food, especially if you're in the United States, because it's easier to compare prices in the United States than in other countries because of the rate of change and all of that stuff. But I saw something today. They were asking should be what should people get on food stamps? And I wasn't saying this is all somebody should get on food stamps, but how much could somebody get by on food stamps? That's what I was meaning was like, what's a fair price that people could get by on? And so they were asking about one person, and I feed our family for $100 a person. I know there's an economy of scale there, but I said $200 a person could make it work. Again, if people had more money, like SNAP is supplemental nutritional assistance program. They assume that you have some money to go into that. That's how they figure out those numbers and why some people only get $12 a month or whatever it is. But what would be helpful? And there are food pantries around and that type of thing. So I was saying that one person could make it on $200 a month. And you would have thought that I was asking people to give up their eyeball or cut off their arm. How could you imagine people living like this? And I was like, but my family lives on $100 a month per person because that's what we have to do. We could qualify for food stamps, but at this point we don't need them. So that's what we do. And it was just one of those that people were like very angry at me that I had said these prices. So they were like, but you can't get a meal. That would be the one person figured it out, I guess. And she said that would be $2.22 a meal. And you couldn't have a meal with like any substance to it at that price. So I looked at my local Walmart and I looked at prices. And that meal, like the meal that I looked up, you could do 3 eggs for 30 cents. They were 10 cents a piece. A slice of cheese for 20 cents. A banana for 20 cents. An English muffin for 30 cents, plus a cup of milk for 30 cents. That would be one person's meal, and that would cost $1.30. And that was going a little bit up because I was like figuring prices. Like the eggs were like 7 to 9 cents. I figured 10 cents a piece. So it maybe even closer to $1, but still, that leaves you more money for the rest of the day. And it's one of those that we as a nation are very, very wealthy and we have lots of different choices. There are many countries where they have a bowl of rice, one bowl of rice for the day, and that's what they have for food. And the fact that we can be picky and we can decide like, oh, an egg sandwich doesn't sound good this morning. I'm going to have cereal or I'm going to have a cinnamon roll or I'm going to have whatever, something different. A lot of people don't have that luxury. And so I just think we don't appreciate. Would you like your phone? It's in my lap. So, it's pronounced Mauritius. The person in Congo told me it's more like that than what I was saying. I asked how to say it because I didn't know. Erica said, our family of 6, I try to keep it at $600 to $700 a month. That's including household and diapers. It can be tough, but we make it work. Yeah, you make work what you have. I was saying in a video today because I did a food haul. So if people saw that, they already heard me say this. But we spend $1,100 a month for the 11 people that live in the house. So the 10, like 2 parents, 8 kids, plus Mark's mom makes 11 people in the house. I have the hiccups. My mom also eats meals with us, but Mark's mom doesn't eat every meal with us. Even though she's here, she sometimes has her own food, which is fine. So that means that we have like 2 half people, if that makes sense. And so for those people, I spend $1,100 a month. My mom sometimes buys us food at Shaw's, which is our local store. It has really good loss leaders. So like they have watermelons on sale this week. I think they're $3.99 each, which is cheaper than our Walmart. So my mom's going to pick me up a couple of those. I don't pay her for those watermelons, but she doesn't pay me if I'm like making a Walmart order and she's like, hey, could you grab me a half gallon of milk for my house? So it all kind of works out because she'll sometimes go every week to Shaw's because they have really good sales. And then she might not go for a month and a half because they just don't have anything or too few things to make the stop. So like today, there's only one person in the family who really likes avocado. Like the rest of us will eat it, but one person really likes it. Avocados were 79 cents. So we're getting some because my mom's already headed to the store for some other things, but we wouldn't go to that store just to get the cheaper avocados, if that makes sense. So anyway, we were just talking about food prices and what people spend. And I think that we just need to remember how good God is to us and how many blessings we have every day in the fact that I don't know if you've ever listened to Forrest Frank, but he has a song about so much to be thankful for. And it's, I've got a roof and a bed. I've got some groceries to stay fed. I'm not going to quote it right, I'm sure, because I have to sing it to quote it right. But just the idea, like in the idea of making that meal that I just mentioned, I have a vehicle that I can go to the store, or I have the option because we have Walmart delivery. I can get that delivered right to my door. That is a huge blessing. I have a pan that I can cook eggs in. I have a toaster I can put my English muffin in. I have a fridge that I can keep my milk cold. There's just so many things to be grateful for instead of like, but I don't feel like eggs this morning. We can say, wow, it's great that God provided eggs. I see somebody is watching with a cute little doggy as their profile picture, but I think whatever their signs are there are some other language. So I say hi too. I just don't know how to say your name. If you want to tell me how to say your name or whatever that is, I'll say it. But so anyway, I think we just need to be more appreciative. I've been trying to teach the kids thankfulness recently, really looking around to see what are things that people are doing for us. Not necessarily for us specifically, but like in our household, we have different people who wash dishes after every meal. So thanking that person, thank you for washing the dishes. That was really helpful. Or thank you for making the meal. Thank you for collecting the laundry to get it to the laundry room. Thank you for holding the door for me. There's so many little things. Erica, I think maybe some folks just need a little more guidance on how to stretch and make nutritious food. You're absolutely right. We are abundantly blessed.
You should make a playlist about
that. Mark doesn't have his mic on. He said, you should make a playlist about that, which is what we were just doing. It was just funny because when that comment came up about the $200, I was talking to Abigail about it because Abigail has been working recently. She's trying to figure out, like, she's 11, so she's not going anywhere soon. She has no real plans to get married. She's just excited to get married in the future. And so she was asking Virginia, big sister, like, how much do you make when you're making chili? How much do you make? Because we make large portions of stuff. And Abigail's been writing like a meal plan for 2 people and how much would that cost? And so it was just funny seeing the comments on Facebook. And I do think that as a country, we need, in America, a lot of people don't know how to cook. It's kind of like a lost generation. We now don't have moms at home cooking food. A lot more people are busy with work, and so meals are bought out. I don't think it's the school's job necessarily to teach home ec, but home ec has been taken out of the schools too. Like I knew how to cook a little bit, very little at home, and I had home ec. So there were some things I learned in home ec, and now that's not even there anymore. And I think it's interesting. I have not watched it yet, but RFK Jr. And I don't agree with. Sometimes when I say things like this, people think that I'm just agreeing with the whole political venue and all of that stuff. That's not what I'm saying. But RFK Jr. Is doing a cooking show where he's teaching people like how to get back to cooking basics. I did not watch the first one because it was seafood, and I don't like seafood. Really do not like the taste or the smell of it. But I saw that there's another one out now that is omelets, and I'm interested in watching that one because I just think it's neat to have that be a part of like just learning how to cook basic foods I like to be in the kitchen with my kids, teaching them how to do things, making bread and stuff. I'm like kicking something here under the bed, and I don't know what it is. And I still don't know what it is. So if you hear something under here, I'm kicking something. And I don't know how to help people learn how to cook because it's very it's something I taught myself through like watching YouTube and stuff, and I'd love to bring someone over to show them how to do things. But I have a lot of kids in the kitchen too, so it's hard to teach at the same time as having all the kids there because I'm already teaching the kids. And little ones, like if I'm cooking something that we're going to sell, like we can sell out of our home because we have a food license here at home. But when I'm cooking with the kids, it might look a little bit different. And so the kids can't be up on the counter when I'm cooking something for other people because they want to help mix and they want to help taste and they want to help do all those things. And so it's just it's hard to teach somebody while you have all the kids at home. But do you guys, how many people that are watching right now were taught to cook when they were living at home, like as a kid? Or how many of you had to kind of learn on your own or figure out your family basics? Or maybe you married somebody who was from a different culture, and so you had to learn how to cook their cultural foods. Because Mark and I were both kind of just basic American food was cooked in our home. And so I didn't have to like learn how to cook another cuisine, if that makes sense. But I could see that could be a challenge too if you did know how to cook, but now you have to cook a totally different way. So let me know in the comments what you think. I do appreciate that our country has so much abundance of food right now. And we were watching a show the other day about the Great Depression and how there wasn't enough food to go around. But part of that was they were paying farmers not to plant crops or to dig the crops under. And that just the idea that there's not food being grown on land that it can be grown on is crazy. So Abigail is actually watching this in the other room, I think. So the comment says, "Go Abigail, my son is 15 and he's been cooking since he was 2 and does a week of meal planning once a month on a certain budget. I had to learn on my own." That's really cool that you do that. We have given times where all the kids have done different budgets, sometimes just for a meal, sometimes for a whole week. I think it's really important for kids to know how to do that. And I saw something the other day that I thought was really cool. I don't even know how this person came up on my feed, but it was a mom who had gone to Costco and she had all the things like laid out on the table. And she had all of her kids, I think there were 5. She had all of her kids had to pick which item on the table was the cheapest and then which item on the table was the most expensive and what they thought the total cost was of all the food on the table. And I just thought that was another really good way if you don't have sometimes it's hard because if you're not thinking your kid's going to do well with the budgeting, it's hard to say, yes, go to the store and spend money that maybe your family doesn't have at the moment. But that was another good way because if you're buying the stuff you're already using to have your kids guess, it's kind of like a Price is Right game, like which is the most expensive, which is the least expensive. Do you have something to add?
No.
Mark's over there. Hi, Hopkins from Canada. Is your last name Hopkins? I find it funny, the name Hopkins right now because the kids have been very interested in an old TV show called Signing Time, where they learn how to do sign language. And there's a little frog on the show called Hopkins. So my kids have been talking about Hopkins a lot over the past couple weeks because we've been watching these Signing Time episodes. So I like the name Hopkins. Very cute. I don't know if you've ever seen those. Those are older, and I don't know anything about. Sometimes I recommend things from a long time ago. And then I find out that the people that were in it are now like some totally different lifestyle and stuff. And so I don't know what these people are doing now. But the show is super cute. It was a mom and her son and the niece. And the niece was deaf. And so this lady and her son were doing the show to help people learn sign language and learn about people around them. So it's a very cute show because they do songs and they just teach very basic word signs that you would use. Like the one is a box of crayons that they were watching today. So they learn all the colors. But it's done in a very kid-friendly, fun way. So Mark's looking at me. What do you want to say? He's over there.
Okay, I turned on my microphone. Can anybody hear me? Yeah,
but
if you can hear me, give the video a thumbs up. That's funny. So I was just thinking it could be one of those podcast kind of videos where they're looking at you.
yeah, that's true.
And then they switch the camera.
He's just laying on the bed because he doesn't want to sit up.
True story.
Okay, so if you could hear him, let me know. But Erica said, what's your take on buying clothing for the kiddos? All 4 of my kiddos are needing fresh clothes. And our Goodwill here is pricier than Walmart. Yes. Okay, I do not shop Goodwill for the most part. I can't even think the last time I was in Goodwill.
No.
We have recently gone into our local Salvation Army, which has been a while since we've been there, and they seem to have fairly good prices on the few things I looked at, but I was not specifically looking for clothes. Abigail wanted to go because she wanted to buy some teacups, and she bought from Walmart some tea and sugar packets and stuff, and she made up little like you'd make a gift basket, but it was just a teacup filled with teas and stuff that she gave to a few of the older women at church, and it was a very cute gesture.
She's awesome like that.
She is awesome like that. The older lady at church that she gave it to a couple weeks ago was like, I was drinking tea out of my teacup from Abigail this morning, and it just reminded me that somebody's thinking of me. And it was just very cute. It cost very little money. She had made the money at a lemonade stand and wanted to bless somebody with it. Sorry, I shook the camera. And that's what she did. So it was very cute. But anyway, that's why I was in Salvation Army. And we found a game for a good price. What else did I get? I looked for shorts for Mark, but they didn't have any because Mark wears shorts a couple times a year. My nose is really itchy tonight. The goldenrod is that what's out right now?
It's something making
Something's
me
out
sneeze.
that's
Man, I
making
can't
us
barely
sneeze.
breathe. Yeah.
But anyway, so my nose is itchy. That's why I keep touching my nose because it just itches. What I bought some other things. Oh, we bought books. We bought some books while we were there, and I may have bought something else. And the prices looked a lot cheaper there, but I don't tend to buy a whole bunch of clothes at a time. I have found for our family, Walmart is best for buying just like boys' jeans because I can find what I need. I don't like to shop. So I'm not one who likes to go into Salvation Army and look through all the racks. Some people might love that, and that is great for you, but that is not my cup of tea. So I just go on Walmart and I'm like, yep, I need size 8 pants. That's in stock. Great. It's coming to my house. But the pants there, you can find pants for $8 to $12 at Walmart. And for my boys, they hold up as well as anything else because my little boys are rough on pants. For Mark, we sometimes buy Rural King, which Virginia wanted to know if you wanted any Rural King or anything before she came.
Oh, I should put it in order.
Rural King is a kind of like a Tractor Supply, but better down in the Tennessee area.
They got free popcorn and free coffee. And
yeah. And yeah, let us know if you can hear Mark because no one has said that yet. So I want to make sure I'm not just blank over here. But Rural King has good quality pants, like jeans. So we have bought those in the past. And Virginia is coming to visit soon, so she said she'd pick them up. And then we keep stuff. Yeah, they hear you. Rita hears you.
I'm sorry.
So we also keep stuff for the next size down. So like today, Abigail noticed her shoes were getting a little tight, so she went downstairs to look in our shoe bin and she found some shoes that had been Josiah's, but we wear barefoot shoes and I just get neutral colors, so black, gray, blue, that type of thing. So it can be passed down to the next kid because the shoes have held up very, very well.
What is the brand that you buy?
I buy Witten, Whitin. I buy those on Amazon, and they're like $35 to $50 a shoe, depending on the shoe you're buying and if there's like a sale or something.
Yeah.
But they usually hold up to be wearable by the next child too, which Walmart shoes don't do that for us. So.
They're very durable because our kids are outside a lot.
Yeah.
and they run through the mud and the dirt and the yuck
Yeah.
and the stuff. Yeah.
And Naomi's shoes are going to last forever because she doesn't wear them if you watch that video. And
True
so
story.
I never go out and buy a whole new wardrobe for a child, if that makes sense, because we have stuff downstairs. I've also found that we know a lot of people who hand us their cast offs. Their kids have outgrown them and stuff.
Yeah, instead of donating them to a store or something, they donate them to us.
Yeah. So I think if you also just let people know that you are willing to take things, because we've had lots of different people from our church and stuff who will hand us clothes, and they know that we have some stipulations on what we wear. And so I just ask them, like, do you want stuff back that we're not going to use, or do you want me to pass it on? And usually I'm the end of the line. So they're like, nope, just do whatever you want with them. And so we just go through them and then we hand them off to Salvation Army or Goodwill, or we have a consignment shop, thrift store. I don't know what you'd call it, in the area of someone we know that we sometimes gives close to if we get up that way. So, okay. Susan said, my mom made dinner every day and I wish I would have paid more attention. Yeah, I wish I would have paid more attention too, because my mom made dinner. My parents both made dinner, actually. My dad was a good cook too.
Yeah.
So there was homemade food on the table almost every night. We occasionally went out, but I didn't know what to do once I moved out of the house.
You have to learn. You learn
I learned.
to rely on your mother and call her a lot.
Yeah, I did. I kind of appreciate that the internet was not such a big thing. I mean, I got married in 2002, so there was internet. I'm not that old, but it wasn't like YouTube. You just YouTube any video you want and stuff. And I think that we lose something when we always go to the internet for an answer instead of asking like real life people.
Says the lady on the internet.
Yes, this lady on the internet. But like I called my mom to ask her, like, okay, I put a chicken in the oven. When should I check it? What am I looking for? Like that type of thing, because I didn't know enough. And I think we should rely on the real life people, calling that older lady from church, that type
Totally,
of thing.
yeah.
So,
But you and your mom have a great relationship, and a lot of those phone calls,
yeah,
it
turned into something else besides just asking about the chicken.
right. It's just the day-to-day being together and talking to each other and being invested in each other's lives. Like that's what matters.
We were actually talking about this today because we were just talking about kids and grandparent relationships. Because I was just reminiscing about going to visit my grandparents. I'd go stay with them for 2 weeks every summer. And it wasn't because my parents needed to get rid of me. It was because my grandparents wanted to see me and because me and my sister wanted to go. We definitely enjoyed our time with our grandparents. And they didn't entertain us all the time. But we didn't go to like spend time with other kids and stuff. Like my cousins lived in town, so we saw them a couple times while we were there, but we went truly just to spend time with my grandparents. I remember going to the library and getting books, and then we'd all go home and sit on the different couches and read. My grandmother would read to me way past the time that, you need books read aloud. We would play games. I remember playing Tripoli, which might be a gambling game. I don't know. We never gambled in it. We just used little counters to do the things, but you'd try to get like runs and have the ace of spades, or I don't even remember all the rules. But that type of thing. We played a game called euchre when I was a kid.
Yes, euchre. We like to play a lot of euchre.
We still play euchre.
We do.
I haven't played Tripoli since I was a kid. I remember going to my uncle's shop uptown and visiting there. I remember going to check some bird houses. I guess my grandparents did like bird counting for something. I remember my grandparents worked for like a university. They were like alumni ambassadors or something. And I remember helping stuff folders. Like we'd sit down and we'd have all these things and we'd walk down the line and stuff the folders. Like I remember that as like a fun thing, a good memory. It wasn't that we did anything big and fantastic with my grandparents. It was just these little fun things that we did.
Your grandparents were awesome.
My grandparents were awesome.
They were amazing.
Oh, we went bike riding with my grandpa. My grandma did not know how to ride a regular bike, like a single bike. My grandparents had a tandem bike, and my grandma could ride on the back with my grandpa leading. I don't know if she could ride with someone else on the front because she always rode with grandpa on the front. But when my sister and I were there, we'd leave grandma home and one of us would sit on the back of grandpa's bike. And then they had a single bike too, and we'd go ride around town. Yeah, my grandparents were great, but it wasn't because they did something big and extravagant. And I've talked to some other grandparents, and they feel like this need to always be taking their grandkids to do things. And I don't know, it's like once you take your kids to Disney World, I'm not saying not to take grandkids to Disney World or whatever, do what you want. But if that's what you're doing and that's what's expected, it becomes about the activity instead of the people that you're with.
Yeah, Virginia and Wayland and Justice and Creed will be here soon. Maybe if we do another live next week, they'll already
We
be
don't
here.
have anything big and extravagant planned with them.
Yeah, we want to sit and read books, and we want to sit and watch the kids play, and we want to like read to them and do
Magnetiles.
Bible together and Magnetiles
Justice is very interested in Magnetiles and he
and
wants to
just
play with Mimi,
watch
and I'm very excited.
watch Creed learn how to stand up and like watch Justice do just enjoy them, just enjoy being around them and tell them stories and like this is what it's supposed to be like.
Yeah.
Could we also go to like a baseball game? Sure, that might be memorable.
Yeah.
That might be a great thing to do. But we only have limited time, and I want it to matter.
Right.
And what matters is the day to day.
The day to day, the relationships, the
Yeah.
people. I think that
Not about the
our
stuff.
culture is very much about the stuff and the
Yep.
things and the
Stuff in the event.
activities, not about just the normal rhythm of every day. Like we're very excited that Justice and Creed and Virginia and Wayland can come be part of our normal everyday. We were
Yeah.
talking about like what can we do for Bible because they're little. Creed and Justice are little, so they're not used to our long Bible time, which is fine. So what can we do to have them be part of it? We're going to have a shorter time and we're going to make it all work, and we're excited for them to be part of that. We're excited for them to come sit at the dining room table and eat with us and talk with us. We're excited for them to come play our little games that we were playing tonight with the kids. It's not about going out and doing something big. Okay, we're going to go back a little bit because I see some people wrote some stuff. Are you doing anything fun or different in school right now? Okay, Erica, I'm not doing that right now. Anything really super fun right now because we are getting organizing and stuff done before Virginia and Wayland come. We will start school diligently the last week of August into September, but that first week after they're gone, we have 2 appointments in the big city, which is an hour and a half, 2 hours away from us, like on a Monday and a Thursday. So we'll do school those other days. But I've got some stuff and I'll be doing some more homeschool videos. So that question will be answered soon. So sorry, I don't have a good answer for you tonight. I sat down with the kids today asking things that they wanted to do, and we're trying to make our schedules. Sweet Pea said, hello. Hi, Sweet Pea. Edelweiss Mama, do you ever feel convicted about donating immodest clothing to the thrift store? Like if it's very short shorts, it's unlikely to be worn in any way to add to modesty, like tank tops can add layers. Yes, I agree. I haven't actually had to deal with that because people who donate clothing to us usually don't give something that's super immodest because they know we wouldn't wear it. So a pair of shorts, like for us, if the boys are wearing shorts, they go to at least the knee, if not a little bit lower. And so if someone were to give us shorts that were slightly above the knee, I'd still donate those to a thrift store because I think that's what a lot of people wear that are still like, it depends how tall you are and everything, because we need like extra long shorts. But I haven't had someone donate like shorty shorts to us.
And our own desire for modesty standards doesn't make it a rule for everybody else either necessarily.
Right.
Yeah, there's some things that
There are some things I probably would just toss the shorty shorts in the trash.
Yeah.
But I haven't had anyone pass off shorty shorts to me. So I don't know what I would do. We do. So we have this library here of books that people can come borrow from. And we have had people donate books. And there have been some books that we have just thrown in the trash because they are books that we do not think are profitable for anybody to be reading.
Yep.
But then we have some other books that we don't choose to read, but I don't think the book in itself is awful, if that makes sense.
All things are lawful, not all things are expedient or profitable.
Exactly. So like I can't say there are things I can definitely say this book is not okay. Like if we found a book on how to, torture your cat, yeah, that's going in the trash. No one should be torturing cats. That's not okay.
Don't tell Ken Ham.
But if we found a book that was, 12 ways to eat tofu, well, I don't eat tofu, but it's not evil if somebody eats tofu, so I can pass that book on. Does that make sense? Trying to think of random things off the top of my head, like my AC/DC reference to piano the other day. I'm not very good at this off the top of my head thing. Okay, Chrissy.
No, but it is rather
Hi.
entertaining to watch.
I hope that answered your question, Edelweiss Mama. If it didn't, I can make another video in the future.
If you prefer videos where Sarah and I sit around bantering about being silly with podcast microphones, please let us know in the comments.
Chrissy said, I love calm weekends and magnetiles. Yes. So this weekend we have, for us, kind of a busy weekend because we're out of the house, but calm in the way that it's going to be easy things to do. So we are going to go out and do ministry tomorrow morning. We haven't discussed exactly what timing or anything. Tomorrow evening, my mom has a concert. So my mom plays cello and they're doing movie songs or something like that. So it's just orchestra.
Very well.
Yeah, it's just orchestra playing music from movies. I don't know what movies all they are or whatever, but we're going to that tomorrow.
Just no acting like last time.
No acting like last time. I had Pirates of Penzance, which I don't know much about the Pirates of Penzance. They did a couple parts of it. That was interesting.
There were people running through the hall, through the aisles.
It scared my 3-year-old at the time, so I didn't get to see much. And then on Sunday, we have our regular church service. And then Sunday evening, we're going to see Timothy and Hosanna Noble. He plays piano and she plays violin. They both did that before they met each other, but their talents go really well together.
Child prodigies. Yeah.
And she sings, they both sing beautifully. So, and they travel with his sister, who also plays violin. Yep. I think they still they have in the past. I don't know. Their family structure may change as things happen.
I think when we first met them, they weren't married yet.
Yeah, they traveled that first year. Yep. They weren't married. They were engaged.
Yeah, they were engaged. And then they came back married, and then they came back with a baby, and then they came back with another baby, and then they came back.
But his sister, who travels with them, is getting to the age that at some point she might get married and not travel with them.
Yeah, she may be gone.
I don't know. So anyway, they're very sweet. Yeah. And we've seen them multiple times, and they play every summer at a church we used to attend. So we know a bunch of people over there. So it's going to be nice to go over and see all the peoples over there. Erica said, I can relate. Those are wonderful memories. I go once a week to have a cup of tea with coffee. You said coffee with my grandma. Why do you have to have tea with grandma? I don't know. That came to mind. I have such great memories with her. That's awesome. Yeah, we were sitting at the table tonight talking about memories with my mom and Mark's mom and me talking about memories. And my mom was telling me things about going to her grandma's house, my great grandma's house, and being on the farm and things they would do. And she remembers great grandma, playing the piano and her and her sister dancing around the living room. So it's just fun to think of those things. Chrissy, yes, right before my aunt died, we had breakfast. Best memory. Yeah, that's awesome. It's awesome that you have those. Memories are so important. And making memories with your loved ones is so important because it is so easy to get tied up in the cares of the world. I do have to feed my family. I do have to make sure laundry gets done. But I also have to sit and be silly with my kids. And I have to sit and read that book with them and just make those memories. Nothing big, but the kids remember those little things. Kids remember having cinnamon rolls every morning, every Christmas morning for breakfast. Kids remember the prayer before bed every night. They remember all those simple rhythms. Chrissy, can I ask says candidate question, but I'm not really sure. I had a miscarriage at 9 weeks. Baby died at 6 weeks. Any advice on when to restart intimacy? When you feel ready. So there's that whole healing process that you want to make sure that your body is healed enough that you would not possibly introduce infection into a body that is still healing. So for me, myself, I would suggest when you're done bleeding, from that physical aspect. But intimacy is such a strange thing after miscarriage because for some women, the act of intimacy is very healing in they they feel very loved and um, womanly and all of those things by restarting intimacy. And sometimes you feel maybe betrayed by your body. Maybe you feel like you aren't doing everything you should, even though you are. These are like feelings that you have because of all these hormones and things that are going on. And you really don't feel comfortable with your body after the miscarriage. And so you need to give your body time to heal emotionally and mentally be ready for that. Do you
And
have
that's,
anything to add?
yeah, I was going to say that's miscarriage is, it's very hard um, on husbands, dads, but it's definitely different than how a mom, a wife experiences that. And then healing from that is something that as husbands we need to be very patient and thoughtful and willing to hear, you know what, I'm just not ready.
Mhm.
Like not being pushy, that kind of thing. Yeah, I understand all the men, are all going to yell at me. Men have needs. Yes, you knew, but you got to grow up and also understand your wife has a need. And so, like, as husbands, we're to love our wives as Christ loved the church and give himself up for her. And so, if it's a matter of a man being impatient, I would recommend you can send him my email if you'd like to. Um,
We did
sorry,
a video, Mark and I sitting down at one point about intimacy. And maybe Mark can find that and put that
I can
in
look for
here.
it.
But it was us sitting down and talking, and just the idea that sometimes as a woman, like after a miscarriage, I feel I don't feel myself right away. And I tried to explain this to Mark because we've had a few miscarriages recently. We've had miscarriages in the past. I want to be with Mark, but all my hormones and everything are sending me signals that I'm not wanting to be with Mark, if that makes sense. So it's not that I don't appreciate him. It's not that I don't love my husband, but my body's not sending me signals that I want to be intimate with my husband. And so for me, when I walk into a room, like after a miscarriage, when I walk into a room, my first thought isn't, oh, I want to go give my husband a hug and a kiss. My hormones are all off, if that makes sense. So it's not like, oh, I'm disgusted by my husband, but it's just I don't have the same feelings as I do just between pregnancies or even just when I'm pregnant. That drop in hormones, I have to say in my head, I want to go give Mark a kiss. And I enjoy the kiss once we kiss. It's just that I don't that's not what I'm looking for, if that makes sense. My brain and body are not giving me the cues that I normally have of like, oh, go give your husband a kiss.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
And that can be hard for guys, to try to discern what you if you're not open and honest with your communication. Like if you don't have a very wide open kind of conversational relationship like we do, you're going to miss some of those cues, and you may end up offending one another
And
in the
even
right
though
way.
we talk and stuff, we still offend each other and
We do.
don't.
We do.
So
Try to avoid it, but it happens. It happens.
it happens because while we are of one mind, one heart, one everything, I'm a woman and he's a man, and we had different upbringings and all of that stuff. And so
Yeah.
we see the world different, and it's okay. So you just need to be able to talk and be able to understand that you guys are still on the same team.
Yeah, and trying to you talked about family culture and making memories with grandparents and that kind of thing. I didn't have those sorts of experiences generally. So I'm having to think about my relationship because I'm a father of young children still at home.
Mhm.
Like some of our children are the same age as our grandchildren. Um, what does it look like? Like, how should I be investing in my grandchildren? How should I be thinking about them? Prioritizing time with them because they're only here for a limited time. And, you know, making sure the time that we have each day is spent with our children, with each other, doing something as a family, but also serving God in other ways. But just yeah, prioritizing and using our time wisely can be a challenge in every season of life.
So Edelweiss said, I think you answered that very gracefully. I have thrown away quite a bit of things that weren't God honoring, and I sometimes feel wasteful for doing so, but I am not in those situations often either. So, yeah, I think that we want to use our resources to the best we can. And if you have somebody who is good at like sewing and stuff, maybe they can do something. Like Naomi would be able to take a pair of shorty shorts and make something. Um, because she really likes to sew. She actually took some, my aunt gave us some capri type pants that Naomi was able to make some skirts out of. Um, they weren't immodest shorty shorts like you're talking about, but you can fashion things to do different. So if you have a daughter or son who's interested in creative ways to try it, use the clothes that you were thinking about throwing away anyway. So Chrissy said, thanks. I had never had one before, even though they assured me I did nothing. I worry I drank too much caffeine, or I don't even know, but thank you. I think it is very common for women to feel that way, that they did something, because everybody, you're the only one to blame, because at that stage, you're the only one who's feeling the pregnancy. You're the only one doing that. But there's lots of reasons why a miscarriage could happen. I had a healthy baby and then a miscarriage, and then I had a stillborn baby for a different reason. And then I had a couple more healthy babies, a miscarriage, a couple healthy babies. There was no rhyme or reason to why I was having those miscarriages. We don't know for certain even why I had these last miscarriages. Um, but I also feel we can take things very personally, and even if someone says something to us, we can take it as, oh, they think I did something. And it's just it's nothing you did, but I understand all those feelings.
Mm,
Were you going to say something? No.
I don't think I have a whole lot to add to that. Just it's a it's an experience. I think you summed it up all. I just stopped
Okay.
talking now. Never mind.
So
Sorry.
Mark put the
I hit a button. Sorry.
understanding intimacy in marriage on there.
Ah.
That is not recommended for kids. Most of my videos kids could watch, but we don't recommend that one. Edelweiss Mama said hi. Rita, prayers for you, Chrissy. Yes, I'll be praying for you, Chrissy, too. Sweet Pea, do you like doing lives? I do. I like doing lives. I like this interactive chatting with you guys. I would love to have you all over for tea and we could, or coffee, and we could sit and have these discussions. But at this stage in life, because of the ages of our kids and the needs of our family and just the people around, we invite people to our house a lot and we don't have a lot of people come.
We
And
had guests
so
last night though.
we did. We had guests last night and we had so much fun with them. And
They were a
they
sweet couple.
were the type of guests that I don't know if they came to visit us or visit the kids, because sometimes, you have people that just are there for the adults, and the kids sometimes seem like they're a burden to people you might have in your house. But these
Yeah.
guys truly loved the children too.
Yeah.
So it was a very,
And the
very
kids
sweet.
love them. Like it's a very good circumstance.
It was very good. So the other thing that I just wanted to mention tonight, because we're getting close to the end of our time, is um, I just was thinking this week, because of multiple different things, about our words and the things we say to our kids. Because the things we say to our kids when they're 4, 6, 8, 10, they remember their whole life. Like, I remember things that my grandparents said to me. I remember harsh words that were spoken to me by another kid at school or a teacher at school. And one slip of the tongue and an apology isn't going to make or break something. But just the idea that if you're encouraging your child, you're a hard worker, you can do this, instead of you're lazy, because we start to self-talk. We start to say to ourselves the things that we hear coming from other people. And we want those things that we're that our kids are thinking about themselves to be positive. And so there are times for correction. We have kids, I correct the kids. But there's also times to make sure that you're giving them words to live up to, if that makes sense. So it's just something that's been on my heart recently. I saw something by Grandma Bibbins or whatever her name is.
Granny Bibbins.
Granny Bibbins.
Granny Bibbins.
If you've seen her on Facebook or whatever, she's really funny. But she was just talking about how we tend to think of ourselves in a certain way. Like, let's just say, I'm not saying this about myself, but I could say I'm an overweight person and live in such a way to think I'm an overweight person. Or I could think I'm a person who has some physical challenges that make exercising certain ways difficult, but I'm doing my best to keep my strength and to eat well and do that. And there's a difference in doing those two, because if you just talk about yourself as an overweight person and you just view yourself in that way, instead of talking about the positive things, it can be very depressing, if that makes sense. Not like depression, but like, yeah, how you talk to yourself. So I just wanted to encourage people to talk kindly to yourself, but talk kindly to others, because you might be the only voice they're hearing that's saying, you're a hard worker, keep it up. Or thank you for what you did today. We never know where someone else is in their life, what's going on with them. And so just be those kind words. So if anyone else has anything to comment or ask in the questions, go ahead and ask. We have, like I said, a kind of busy weekend coming up. This coming week, we're going to be doing more to get ready for Virginia and Wayland. We have a couple things we're going to do. We're going to move our living room area around. I want to move the guinea pigs out of the living room because they go crazy at nighttime sometimes, and they run laps around their cage.
I think they're possessed.
And they run, they like shoot the shavings out the side of their cage. And so we're going to move them.
Yeah, because they're doing 90 around the corner.
Like And so we're going to move them to a smaller cage in a different room while the grandkids are here, because I don't want Creed eating the shavings off the floor. And we only want to sweep so many times a day.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest messiness in our living room right now is the guinea pigs. And it's not a problem for people who aren't eating things off the floor, but it's not like it's really messy. But if you know kids that are just learning to crawl, you only need one piece of dirt on the floor,
yes,
and they will find
the
it.
worst thing they could possibly put in their mouth.
I just realized it made it sound really bad, like we have pine shavings all over the floor all the time. That's not what it is.
No.
So we're doing that this coming week. And what else do we have this coming? We just got confirmation that our church is doing a hymn sing at our local, like our camp that our church has. We're going to be doing a hymn sing that end of August. So that's super exciting.
So if you're in our area.
Yeah, if you're in the area of Damascotta, Maine, August 30th, we're doing a hymn sing. So
2 p.m.
We're going to be inviting area churches to come to.
We'll
so
be
it would be
singing
just
selections from Hymns of Grace.
So
And
yeah.
probably some other stuff. We know a lot.
Oh, we have, I'm not going to mention who, but we have other people possibly visiting this week. So that's exciting.
Oh, lots of other people. I had forgotten
what I was
and I'm
talking
like, oh, yes.
about. I have to get an Azure order this week. So hopefully that comes at the right time, because our Azure order has been late recently. So hopefully it's at the right time. I'm thinking we have something else to do on Wednesday.
But Dad's not coming with that group, right?
No.
Well, I love the group, but I miss the dad. Sometimes you gotta have a man around, you know?
So, I'm thinking we have something else on our calendar, but I can't remember what it is. And then we will be getting into school the week after Virginia and Wayland leave. So that'll be fun too. So I'm trying to get those things set up. We've already started a new chore list, trying to get people to do their chores every day. Not that the kids don't do their chores, but having them look at their chore list, see what the chores are, and try and get them done.
A little more self-directed, yeah.
Hopkins, it'd be fun if Maine was closer to you too, but we're kind of stuck where we are.
Currently.
And Maine's got some stuff going on because they just want to be as different from the United States as they can be. So we are trying to find good people to get into office in November.
Yep.
And so that's why Naomi and Samuel went to the sheriff's meeting tonight. And Naomi is working on her abortion bill to put up again in whenever she can do that, because she's got to find a sponsor.
If you know a decent state representative in the state of Maine that would like to abolish abortion,
Yeah.
send me a message.
Let us know if you have a good person. Leave a message here.
Sadly, many of the people they might think of
Don't want to do it. Just leave a message on
won't
here.
actually do it. But
No,
that's okay.
you don't have to look at anything on here. I was saying
No.
leave a message on here.
Oh, they can leave a message on here.
They can leave a
yeah,
message on
exactly.
here. So anyway,
So AJ Joy for sheriff. Is that what you were saying?
yes,
AJ Joy for sheriff, Knox County, Maine.
if you're here in Maine, in Knox County, AJ Joy is a gentleman who worked law enforcement in Tennessee and has been up here or gotten all his credentials or whatever. There's somebody who's fighting that he shouldn't run, but
Somebody doesn't want to lose to him in the ballot.
he has passed all the things. He's done all the stuff he needs to do. And he is running, and he's running with our local, used to be police chief
Yep.
here in town. And
Retired police chief. Like,
yeah,
we didn't like fire him or anything. He was a really good police
He
chief.
didn't like try to get a different job while he already had a job
Hoppy
as
was
sheriff.
amazing. He was great for the town of Thomaston for a lot of years, and was a good friend of your dad's.
Yeah. So that's where they were tonight. So we're trying to get some good people into office. And sheriff actually has a lot to do. They don't make any new laws or anything, but they have a lot to do with upholding the law that's already supposed to be in place. And so
Yes, some sheriffs limit patrols, so the roads seem to be rather unsafe lately. A lot more accidents and some things going on, and just it's like different parenting styles, different sheriffing styles, I guess.
Well, there's just a lot of things because, like, with the United States government, how it is now, whichever way you want to think about it, there are ICE agents in different parts of the country, and
Maine.
sometimes they come to Maine.
Yep.
And there are people who don't want our people to work with the ICE agents, and it's making for some unsafe situations for local law enforcement and the ICE agents. And that's not fair to the people who have gotten into the job of trying to protect people. So Geranium said, please pray for Massachusetts, where I live. Governor Maura Healey just signed a bill this week removing restrictions on abortions past 24 weeks, allowing physicians to perform the procedure later.
We have been following this bill.
We have been watching this bill. Maine also has abortion up till birth available.
We're a sanctuary state.
People can come into our state to get abortions. Even people underage can come and get abortions. So we are praying for the state of Massachusetts, and it is sick that people would make these decisions. I actually saw someone saying it was really good that this decision was made because she had a son who had a stroke in utero, and so, she had to have an abortion. And I tried to remind people, we have a son who had a stroke in utero who's now 14, and the doctors told us.
Everybody loves him.
And everybody loves him.
Useful, productive member of society that everyone loves.
He is 14, and the doctors told, we didn't find out till he was 10 months old that he actually had it, but he was told he would never walk and talk. We were told he would never walk and talk, and he talks and he runs and he does all the stuff.
He does all the
and
stuff.
So, and even if you had a child who's going to, they say, is going to die at birth or shortly after birth, that's no reason to actually murder the child.
Right.
It's a reason to love them all the more fiercely until they die.
Yeah, and even
so
after they die.
And doctors don't know everything because, they're going to die at birth. Well, I know somebody whose son they said was going to die before he was born, and he's almost 2.
Yep.
So yeah, doctors don't know everything. Chrissy said, my brother was born in 1993 at 27 weeks.
Wow.
And my brother is fine. That is awesome. We have friends here in Maine whose daughter was born at
24 weeks, 5 days.
Yeah, it was one of the earliest babies born in Maine. It was very early.
Yeah.
And they had to get life flighted to a near hospital, and they were in the NICU forever.
107 days.
She is an amazing little blessing. She's so great. So yeah, babies can definitely live past that 24-week mark that they made. But even the baby who's 23 weeks, there's no reason to murder that baby. You ask the people the question, it's okay to murder a baby when there's no answer. I was actually told today when I was trying to make the argument on Facebook that it's not a baby in the womb, it's a fetus. So I was trying to ask, well, when does it become a baby?
The magic birth canal.
Because when they come out,
Turns
they're like, you
fetuses
had a
into
baby.
babies.
So when did it become that baby?
If they come out and they're not breathing, they'll do life-saving, like CPR and things like that. We happen to know what we're talking about.
But if you have a water birth, it's a baby while it's still under the water before it comes out in the air and breathes. So
Exactly.
that doesn't make it happen.
Precisely.
If the baby's brought out of the womb, whether delivered regularly or a C-section, and is immediately put on a ventilator, that's a living baby. If
they're living long before that.
Yeah, they're
That's his
an
conception.
image bearer from the moment of conception. And then if you want to fight all those other little details, most of the details they want to do, like when the heart beats and stuff, is before you actually even know you're pregnant.
Yeah.
So like most people wouldn't have an abortion by that point because they don't even know they're pregnant. Like, not that they should have an abortion at any point. So we are going to go because I got to get my little one to bed, and we will see you guys next time on Herding Little Cows to the Glory of God. Bye.